Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso will always be an amazing battle. After winning her highly anticipated first WNBA game against Reese and Cardoso a few weeks ago, we already got a rematch. And when I say it was a show, there were no lies told. Let's dive right into the game. With Elizabeth Williams being out, rookie Kamilla Cardoso got to start yesterday and she made her presence felt on the Sky's first possession. Reese drives to the basket and draws two fever defenders on her, making a nice pass to Cardoso, who misses the basket but fights for the offensive rebounds and gets the putback to go. Now it's time for Clark to get going. As Mitchell sets a fake screen, Caitlin has an empty side for herself. With plenty of room to operate, she goes straight up for an easy layup with Reese hesitant to fully commit to helping. At the top of the key, Angel Reese finds a cutting Mabry left open from a miscommunication in the fever defense involving Clark. Cece is used to being blitzed in the WNBA, and she is showing us here that it will take more than that to stop her. An easy pass to Boston, who has a clear mismatch in the paint with Cardoso committing to the blitz, and another easy basket for Indiana. Cardoso is getting some more touches than she's used to thanks to her starting. Here she receives the ball deep in the paint, but Indiana sends a double team and she takes a tough shot when she could have maybe found someone open for a better look. However, her impact on the defensive end is much better, and it shows as she recovers from a behind the back block to Boston when it looked like another easy bucket for Indiana. 4 minutes into the game, Angel Reese shows us why her energy and rebounding ability is so important to the Chicago Sky. She saves the ball the first time, then after Cardoso gets blocked, she saves the ball a second time, kicks it out to a teammate who misses a shot, then she grabs another offensive rebound and scores herself. Nobody does it like her. Everyone knows from her college days that Caitlin Clark is a deadly three-point shooter. Yet somehow, on this pick and roll, the Chicago Sky defense completely falls apart after a miscommunication, which had Angel Reese wondering what was going on, as Clark makes her first three of the night. But she is not only a shooter. The Sky defense is once again confused when Boston sets an off-ball screen for Mitchell, which eventually leads to nothing but leaves Clark alone on the empty side with no one able to help her on her drive. She is just too fast for Mabry. After getting her fair amount of rebounds already, Reese finally gets a touch in the paint as she perfectly sealed Samuelson and had a great angle. Smith comes to double, but she still makes a tough layup. On the other end, the defense around Caitlin is getting tighter after she had three rather easy buckets. On this drive, Evans does not give her any space at all, but eventually fouls, leading to some words getting exchanged. She has only attempted 4 shots in the first quarter, but Caitlin has been creating for her teammates and getting them involved too. The defense is so worried about another 3 for Clark that they have to send help, leaving Hull for a wide open 3. The second quarter opens up with Cece on the bench. The ball then goes to Boston in the post, who just came off her career high in points in her last game, but she's defended brilliantly by Kamilla Cardoso, who moves her feet very well and makes sure not to foul Boston, showing how impactful she can be as a rookie. On the other hand, while she may not have a deep offensive bag yet, she takes great position in the paint in transition, stealing Samuelson and taking advantage of her size and frame for an easy lay-in. Minutes later, she once again grabs an offensive rebound and scores a putback, saving a possession that did not look that good. Offensive rebounds is clearly the reason why Chicago leads the game at this point. And it's not only Cardoso. Angel Reese is the best offensive rebounder in the league so far, and here she also saves another possession and even gets the and one on the putback, in the middle of 4 Indiana players showing great passion after the play. Crucial plays by the Chicago rookies fighting on the boards like crazy. A few minutes later, she draws a foul after driving with great physicality in the paint. Her skill set might not be the best right now, but the energy and will she plays with is unmatched. There is still some concern about Caitlin Clark's defense on some plays though. Here, Reese attempts a drive and momentarily loses the ball. Clark comes to help on the play even though it seemed quite unnecessary, leaving Evans wide open for 3. Reese notices her and Chicago takes a 5-point lead. But she makes up for it on the next play as she runs a pick and roll with Samuelson. Reese hedges the screen, but Samuelson is then open for 3. Cardoso, who has her eyes set on this, gets lost for a split second and loses Boston, who is immediately found by Clark. Caitlin Clark, who has been focused on playmaking this quarter, finally gets into attack mode. She runs a pick and roll with Boston, and after Carter hedges the screen, she keeps her dribble alive and shows great patience to drive on Evans, knowing that Reese is out of the paint and uses a nice screen by Boston to get an open reverse layup for her first bucket of the quarter. Clark pushes the pace after a missed free throw and attacks the point, drawing all 5 Sky players on her and then easily kicks it out to Samuelson for a wide open 3 who sends the game into halftime. Indiana leads 47-43 thanks to great Clark half with 9 points on 4 out of 6 shooting, along with 4 boards, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover. Cardoso and Reese, who have been great too for the Sky, will need to keep that up in the second half. The second half opens up with Cardoso being used differently here on the low post, reacting very quickly to her teammate's cut and dishing out a perfect assist in a tight angle. Smith attempts to go one-on-one against Reese in the post but gets blocked by Chicago's rookie, showing off her impressive defensive skills. So far, Clark hasn't scored a lot of points, but she's getting her teammates involved in a lot and just makes the right play at the right time. Like this pass to push up the pace after a Sky miss. Nothing flashy, not even an assist on the score sheet, but another easy bucket created. What about tough buckets? Clark has got some for you in store. Here, she accelerates in transition and has Evans completely lost on her step back 3. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do. But the strength of the Fever in this game was their ball movement, and Clark happily sharing it. Here, the Chicago players are kinda slow to get back, and with 3 simple passes and a great last extra pass from Clark, there's another free bucket generated. This great offensive sequence by CC continues as she shows off her ball handling skills, taking Allen off the bounce and driving on her using her height and her strength. The kind of attention she receives on the offensive end is simply unique. Here, on this drive, she is surrounded by 4 Sky players and ends up getting fouled, which later got turned into a flagrant. This is what awaits her every single night on the court. Indiana goes back to Boston, who has been on fire lately, but the one-on-one against Cardoso on the block is no mismatch. The rookie holds her own and forces a turnover. As the fourth quarter begins, CC pushes up the pace once again in transition to find Boston, who has Cardoso sealed with a nice bounce pass. The two girls are definitely improving their connection and getting better at finding each other game after game. Angel Reese has been discreet in the second half, and she gets called for her 5th foul on this loose ball play which could have definitely been avoided. Overall, an underwhelming second half so far for the rookie. No points and 4 fouls. What about some defensive highlights from Caitlin Clark? Here, she gets a clean block on the 3, her 14th of the season. On the very next play, she runs another pick and roll and Harrison hedges it. However, no one rotates on Boston, who finds herself completely alone with an open lane in front of her. With Reese having 5 fouls, Indiana obviously goes straight at her on the offensive end because she can't be as physical as she'd wish. However, Reese holds her own very well on this post-up by Smith. Impressive stuff by a rookie to remain calm and poised. Straight from an out-of-bounds play, Clark runs another DHO with Boston, except Cardoso plays drop on the screen and is kinda lost guarding no one, leaving way too much room for CC, who pulls up for 3. The two Chicago rookies work this time together as Reese finds Cardoso, who's got a great angle on Smith deep in the paint, who goes for a turnaround jump shot with a little luck from the glass. Clark is defended very well by Carter on this possession, and it looks like it's going to end on a bad shot, but she feeds Boston at the end of the shot clock, who goes to work for a clutch 2 off the glass. The two girls have definitely been the stars of the game. Reese answers immediately with a drive between Smith and Boston, a tough bucket while splitting the defense to make it a 1-possession game. She may have not scored a lot, but she is coming up clutch. With under a minute left, you know what time it is. It's Caitlin Clark time. She first finds Boston for a good look at the rim. She misses but grabs her own miss, and then the ball goes back to Clark, who notices Smith, originally guarded by Reese. She was left completely alone. Another miscommunication on the defensive end for Chicago, and the game is over. Thanks to a monster performance by Caitlin Clark. 23 points on 7 out of 11 shooting and 3 out of 7 from 3, along with 8 rebounds and 9 assists. An extremely efficient near triple-double for the rookie, who led the way as the clear best player on the court. For Chicago, Angel Reese struggled with her shooting as she has been all season, but ended with a great stat line of 11 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Kamilla Cardoso had the first double-double of her WNBA career with a nice 10 out of 10 game, and both of the rookies displayed great defensive and rebounding abilities. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark pulled off the win.